Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it. And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns. In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics. Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bond, good luck. So important. Going to do a great job. Cash, thank you. Thank you, Cash. They've already started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to be very proud of them. We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve. They have to get. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it. This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and I will never forget them. And besides that, they voted for me in record numbers, so I have no choice. One year ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests. Priors? He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's service, and when I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank
you. I mean, it's bittersweet, but at least she's getting recognition for the bravery of her husband.
Stephanie, we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest, and we're going to get these cold-blooded killers and repeat offenders off our streets, so we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law.
That's fair. I mean, without law enforcement, we'll all be living in California. We don't want to live in California. We got to protect law enforcement.
I'm also asking for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed. Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
All right, we got a Texan. We got a Texan. Texas flag on the shirt. On his dad's shirt, I guess that's his son.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Good gesture. Yeah, the badge and everything. That's funny.
Thank you, DJ. DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget. Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000. And now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong. 1 in 36. Think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January, Little John and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually, all without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Stories like this are why, shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology. I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth. And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie. And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you. Because we're getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And we feel so much better for it, don't we? Don't we feel better? Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations, Secretary of Defense.
Pete Hegseth, let's go. Let's go, Big Pete.
And he's not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. No, well,
Me neither.
I am pleased
Maybe
to
I should
report
go into
that in
politics.
January, the U.S. Army had its single
Maybe.
best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference.
Damn, JD Vance is way bigger than Mike Johnson. I didn't realize that. It's a little dude, Mike Johnson.
And you know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing. And thank you very much. Great job. We're joined tonight by a young man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that call of duty. Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a six-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Tour Cadet.
Congratulations to him. Congratulations. Look, this makes me want to sign up now. I'm wondering if I'm going to get the call to serve my country one day.
Jason,
maybe in
you're gonna be
politics.
on the lone gray line, Jason. As Commander-in-Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA. And Ronald Reagan wanted to do it long ago, but the technology just wasn't there, not even close. But now we have the technology. It's incredible, actually. And other places have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too, right, Tim? Right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you. But it's a very, very important. This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens like never before. To boost our defense industrial base, we are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding. And for that purpose, I am announcing tonight that we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it. Just today, a large American company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others, but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1, but that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it
back. Hey, if we built it and it's ours, we're taking it back. That's it. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to negotiate. You don't like it, move to another country. Move. Go live somewhere else and go complain.
We know who to blame if anything goes wrong. Marco's been amazing, and he's going to do a great job. Think of it. He got 100 votes. You know, he was approved with actually 99, but the 100th was this gentleman, and I feel very certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes. And I'm either very, very happy about that or I'm very concerned about it. But he's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody, and we appreciate you voting for Marco. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. He's doing a great job. Great job. And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security. And we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security. And I think we're going to get it one way or the other. We're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism. 3.5 years ago, ISIS terrorists killed 13 American service members and countless others in the Abbey Gate bombing during the disastrous and incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. Not that they were withdrawing, it was the way they withdrew. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Tonight, I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice.
That means he will be eating cock meat sandwiches. In case you're wondering what's on the menu, cock meat sandwiches on his menu. He'll be on a strict cock meat diet.
And I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this monster. This was a very momentous day for those 13 families who I actually got to know very well, most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly, over 42 people, so badly injured on that fateful day in Afghanistan. What a horrible day. Such incompetence was shown that when Putin saw what happened, I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad it was. Should have never happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line, and they did nothing but cry with happiness. They were very happy, as happy as you can be under those circumstances. Their child, brother, sister, son, daughter was killed for no reason whatsoever. In the Middle East, we're bringing back our hostages from Gaza. In my first term, we achieved one of the most groundbreaking peace agreements in generations, the Abraham Accords. And now we're going to build on that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Pocahontas.
2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans, but I wanted to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. That didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
I mean, they've been ready for peace. But now, because the Europeans don't want peace, we have to go all the way to the Polish border. And honestly, the United States should fight with the Russians against the Ukrainians and the Europeans because they want war. And they're already threatening a nuclear arms treaty with Canada against the United States. Let me make that clear. The Europeans and the Canadians are having discussions of coming up with a nuclear treaty against the United States. What that tells me is that we should be partnering with the Russians against the Ukrainians and the Europeans. We're not in Kansas anymore. These people literally, the leaders in Canada and the Europeans are talking about a nuclear treaty against the United States. This is uncharted territory.
We would bring her boy safely back home. After 22 days in office, I did just that. And they are here tonight. To Mark and his great mom, we are delighted to have you safe and sound and with us. As fate would have it, Mark Fogel was born in a small rural town in Butler, Pennsylvania. Have you heard of it? Where his mother has lived for the past 78 years. I just happened to go there last July 13th for a rally. That was not pleasant. And that is where I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out, and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky. Corey Comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, and above all, a protector. When the sound of gunshots pierced the air, it was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. Two others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of two great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their two beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you. To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his three beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that. Thank you very much. From the patriots of Lexington and Concord to the heroes of Gettysburg and Normandy, from the warriors who crossed the Delaware to the trailblazers who climbed the Rockies, and from the legends who soared at Kitty Hawk to the astronauts who touched the moon, Americans have always been the people who defied all odds, transcended all dangers, made the most extraordinary sacrifices, and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom. And as we have seen in this chamber tonight, that same strength, faith, love, and spirit is still alive and thriving in the hearts of the American people. Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free, and we will fight for it till death. We will never let anything happen to our beloved country, because we are a country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors.
Absolutely.
Our ancestors crossed a vast ocean, strode into the unknown wilderness, and carved their fortunes from the rock and soil of a perilous and very dangerous frontier. They chased our destiny across a boundless continent. They built the railroads, laid the highways, and graced the world with American marvels like the Empire State Building, the mighty Hoover Dam, and the towering Golden Gate Bridge. They lit the world with electricity, broke free of the force of gravity, fired up the engines of American industry, vanquished the communists, fascists, and Marxists all over the world, and gave us countless modern wonders sculptured out of iron, glass, and steel. We stand on the shoulders of these pioneers who won and built the modern age. These workers who poured their sweat into the skylines of our cities. These warriors who shed their blood on fields of battle and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom.
Absolutely.
Now it is our time to take up the righteous cause of American liberty. And it is our turn to take America's destiny into our own hands and begin the most thrilling days in the history of our country. This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we're going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
Space is fake, but I love everything else he had to say. There is no going to space, and that's what I'm a little worried about him saying that. But we love it. We want to hear it.
And through it all,
It's an
we are
amazing
going
speech.
to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve.
That's right, Big JD. Big JD Vance. You know what they say, you can love it or leave it. You can leave. There's flights leaving America every hour on the hour.
Get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.
You know, once upon a time, they said Trump will never be back speaking to the American public. They said he couldn't win. He would never be our president again. George Soros said that he would be a temporary phenomenon that would end in 2020. The thing that makes me feel the best in life is knowing that George Soros was absolutely wrong about what he said about my president. Trump has a lot of ambition and a lot of plans for this country. But as we all know, there are a lot of hurdles in getting to the promised land. Unfortunately, there are elements and there are communities within this country that will prevent us from reaching our full potential. There are whole communities of people that hate the American flag that live here in the country. They would frown upon watching one of these speeches. They hate everything about them, and they all happen to be from the Black community, unfortunately. And they've merged with the gay community. So those two communities now will do what they can to stifle us and to break us down so that we cannot reach our goals. What I've done is I've tuned these people out. You can't even join the military as a Black person or a gay person without them. If you have a conversation with one, they literally would try to talk you out of loving your country. They try to talk you into hating yourself, not having pride in where you're from, not believing in your history. They try to bring up lies about things that happened thousands of years ago. It's the equivalent of someone trying to describe to me how a pterodactyl sounds, but they weren't there. They're just literally, there's just something in them that wants to manipulate you to hate your country. But after listening to a speech like this, How can you hate this man? A man that's speaking about peace. He's refusing to go to war, and the gay and black communities that have merged together are literally fighting tooth and nail to bring us to war, begging for war, protesting because we won't fight. You go to one of those protests, everyone there is either gay or black. There's no heterosexual people with families and children that are like, yeah, I want to go to war. This is my son. He's 16 in 5 years. Take him. No. People who don't believe in family, people who don't have children, people who are anti-American are at these rallies because they want war. They want the corruption. They hate Trump because they hate law and order. A lot of these people are afraid of going to jail for things they've done. The grooming of the children, all the things that they've been doing in secret the last few years. They're scared to death. So they hate Trump because they see him as a return to law and order. Accountability is something that these people never want to meet because it won't be pretty. Remember, we're not even 2 months in. It's going to get better. It's already getting better. I didn't have the faith that some of my friends had that Trump could get over the finish line and survive this long. Personally, I was wrong. I felt like the deep state was all powerful and that they were going to do something to make sure Kamala got in and they would stop this rebirth of American patriotism. Trump being back in office has restored my faith. There is hope for the future. But don't forget, we are the last free republic on earth. All of Europe that we thought were our allies is gone. There is no freedom. No freedom of speech, no freedom of press. You can't even post memes. No weapons, completely disarmed people at the mercy of their gay, when I say gay, I mean literal homosexual political leaders who have an extreme disdain for them and for the public at large. That's why they have zero problem guiding the public into war. They will walk you into the slaughter like sheep, like cattle. And now they're talking with the Canadians about coming up with a nuclear arms pact against the United States. They want our blood and our treasure. They have plans to depopulate all the men in these countries using war. But what they refuse is to let our country be spared. The lives of our men and our soldiers to be spared. Zelensky specifically said, our sons and daughters will have to go die. How do you know they would die? You don't even have no faith that we could fight and make it out of this? You're just assuming we're going to die because that's the goal. There is a mandate by the World Economic Forum for population reduction. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. Bill Gates said they can reduce the population by vaccines. But what was the backup plan for the backup plan for the backup plan? And what you're watching unfold in front of you is all the different ways and the different backup plans they have to reduce the male population, specifically white males. If you look at all these European countries and the American military, the soldiers are typically patriotic young white male soldiers. Who signs up to be police officers and firefighters? Young white males who want to protect their country and help the public. They want specific. Look at the Ukraine, look at the Russians. There's no diversity in those armies. There's no mixture. That's why Putin said these Ukrainians are our cousins. We don't want to do this. Please stay neutral. We don't want to invade the Ukraine. Just stay neutral. Don't say you want to join NATO. The gay coalition under the World Economic Forum, controlled by that controls NATO, wants to get rid of this conservative, orthodox Christian country called Russia. The Russians are not going for it. And now that the straight, non-gay Americans have returned to power, we're not going for it either. We're not giving up our boys and our men to die because a bunch of gays in the World Economic Forum want to see them burn. But you got to think about it. If you're Klaus Schwab, who's 90 years old, when you were a young man, you were in the 50s. Being a young gay man, cross-dresser in the UK in the 1950s, or in Germany or in Austria,
after the war. You have a tendency to like children, and it was a straight white man in a uniform that's chased you into the closet, who you were afraid would come arrest you if they caught you. The World Economic Forum and its leaders are now having their ultimate revenge on the men who chased them into the closets by now going after their sons and grandsons, perverting the laws of our society. The things that were illegal years ago are now acceptable. And we're literally living in the wet dream of the World Economic Forum right now. Things that were illegal 10 years ago are now decriminalized. They're rebuilding a society in their own image, and we cannot allow that. The Americans, United States will not allow that, even if we have some that are disgruntled about it. Remember, we are a conservative country of Christian values. There are some misguided blue cities where we essentially are feeding our own enemies, providing welfare and housing for Marxists and communists. We live in a capitalist society, and we use our taxes to sustain a Marxist communist lifestyle for certain demographics and certain communities of people. That's eventually going to have to come to a stop as well. We cannot keep on like this for much longer. And I do see the changes coming, and there are going to be those that are going to be mad when we get rid of these social services. Guess what? The Canadians will take you. All these other countries that you think are better than the United States, you will have a chance to leave, and you should. That's what migration is. You're supposed to go find greener pastures. If a lake dried up that you built a society on, you do not stand there and cry about the water that used to be there. You pick up and you move. If you don't like the laws in this country, if you don't like the fact that we believe in family, God, men and women and children, we don't believe in the trans and the gay ideology and child molestation, we're against all of it. As a society, as a culture, as an American culture, if that's too much for you to handle, your best bet is to get on a flight, because there's two places that we have for people that want to break our laws and harm our society and target our children. There are prisons and there are graveyards. Every day I'm watching videos where people are like, look at this police brutality video. And I'm like, okay, these are the same videos you've been showing me for 20 years. 20 years you've been watching these videos. Why are you still in this country if it's so bad? If law enforcement, if you think law enforcement is just hunting you guys down for no reason, why would you still live here and have kids and sacrifice your children to law enforcement? Either law enforcement is not bad and you're lying, or you like it. There's only two ways this can go. However, you do have a choice. Staying in the United States is a choice. And if you are going to stay here, we will need you to follow by our laws. We are a nation of laws. We're a nation of rules. You don't have to like them, but you will respect them, or you will. There's two places you can go. Society works in a narrow band. For those who want to operate outside of this narrow band, there are two locations that are open 24/7 that we will send you. But targeting children openly on behest of the World Economic Forum, because you were brainwashed into thinking that you were an oppressed victim, that's just not going to be a good enough excuse anymore. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And acceptance of the law is not required for you to have to adhere to our laws. That goes for every community, my own community included. But we tend to stand clear of all these problems. We choose to come to this country because we wanted to. We came to this country to work. We didn't come to this country to beg and to expect the state to take care of us. So we have different goals. I don't understand how anybody can listen to a speech like this from a man who can remember the names of so many people and still hate him because we won't go to war and we won't fund perversion and gender mutilation surgery for kids all over the world. It's sick. And if you agree with it, then you're sick and you need help. But again, there's only two places I can suggest that will help you: a graveyard and a prison. Pick either one. But targeting children like they're doing now, because this is a war over children, and everybody is in the dark. Nobody wants to talk about it, acknowledge it, but we're fighting for children. One group wants your children. One group wants to protect the children. Which side are you going to be on? This side? They're singing in harmony, "We are coming for your children." This is basically a microcosm of all the leaders of Europe that are now willing to send the men of their countries to die in war. If these are the men in your country, what do you think men like this think about men like me? Men who have size and men who will defend children to the death. Do you think these men are happy about men like me, or are they deathly afraid of us to the point where if they could, they would send me to the meat grinder so that they can go after children without anybody to stop them? This has been going on since the beginning of recorded history. And as a man, as an adult, if we cannot protect children, then what good are we? My opinion, we're no good. These people are openly telling you they're coming for your children, but to get to your children, they have to get the father out of the way. So what do they want to do? They want to send all the fathers to war. How many countries? All of these countries want to send their fathers to war so that these men can have access to their children. The United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, Netherlands. These are all the NATO countries. Australia, New Zealand, full of white people. They want to send white men who have children to die so that these other white men can have access to the children. You have to see this, the bigger play. You have to see the bigger picture. This is bigger than Democrat, Republican. This is bigger than countries. But it's oh so simple. The message is clear. Trump has restored law and order, but it's up to us as the people to fill in the gaps and to also do what we can to protect children so that we can protect our future. Our enemy is not Vladimir Putin. These are our enemies. Pedophiles, perverts, these are our enemies. Men who will never have children because you can't have children with another man are screaming, singing about their plans for your children. They don't want your daughters. They want your sons. But they cannot get to your sons if you have a strong father at home. So what do they want you to do? They want you to send the father to the meat grinder. And all these countries right here that are ran by gay men are willing to send all of their straight men to die so that they can have access to all the children that no longer will have a strong father at home. It's a beautiful strategy for a pervert, but it won't work because we see through it. There's no way you can unsee this video. You're not going to be able to unhear my words. You won't be able to forget so easy. Now you know what the play is. Let's go accordingly. Like and subscribe, share the video. If you have any comments or if you have a counter argument, I'm open to hearing from you. I'm Right Wing Rico. This is the Safe and Effective podcast. I'll be back with another story. God bless America. America first.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.